So Genesis 16, we have Sarah. Sarah's married to Abraham, and Abraham and Sarah have not had any babies yet. And this is important because when we go back to Genesis 15, God, aka Yahweh, had promised Abraham that this man was going to have a child. So fast forward back to Genesis 16, and like I said, Sarah hasn't had any babies yet. So she tells Abraham that he should just go ahead and hook up with her maidservant Hagar, and that those two should have a baby together. And Abraham's like, okay. And so Abraham and Hagar make a baby, of course. Hagar starts feeling herself because she can get pregnant and Sarah can't. And of course, Sarah starts feeling some type of way because Hagar's pregnant and she's not. Listen, for real, y'all should read the Bible. Sometimes it's a whole soap opera. When I used to read this narrative, I would have a whole attitude because I was like, who in their right mind would have their husband, their whole husband, sleep with their servant so that they could have a baby together? Couldn't have been me. Wouldn't have been me and mine. Nope. Wouldn't have been me and Lonnie Brown. Nope. No. Not me and my husband. No. I got a whole attitude just thinking about this. No, thank you. Anyway, I was getting hung up on the details, and that was causing me to miss some of the major points of this narrative. You see, what I didn't have was the cultural context of this narrative. And this is definitely a cultural context thing, y'all. And so that's why in this video, I really wanted to talk about Genesis 16 and the archaeological artifact known as the Code of Hammurabi Stele. Let's get into it. So the Code of Hammurabi Stele is a stele. And if you don't know what a stele is, I really recommend that you go over to my YouTube channel and watch my video entitled The Merneptah Stele. After you subscribe, of course. So, like I was saying, the Code of Hammurabi is this stele. And to be a little bit more detailed, it's this 8-foot tall, shiny, black diorite stone pillar. And it gets its name from the Babylonian king that had this thing made. You see, Hammurabi was this Amorite king that ruled over Babylon, and he had the stele made during his reign, which is around 1792 to 1750 BCE. As a matter of fact, the top of the stele has this carved imagery of Hammurabi. He's standing and receiving law codes from the seated sun god Shemesh. And it's those law codes that he has put on the stele, 282 of these law codes to be exact. And these law codes cover some of everything. I'm talking from crime to marriage to even something like wages. I mean, some of everything, really. And side note, and this is for my super Bible nerds out there, the way the law codes are written on the Code of Hammurabi Stele is real similar to the way the law codes are written in the books of Leviticus and Deuteronomy. You know, it's that whole eye for an eye type of writing. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. We're not in Leviticus and Deuteronomy. We're in Genesis 16. And of the 282 law codes, what we really want to talk about today are law codes 144, 145, 146, and 147. All of these law codes deal with scenarios of a husband and a wife and her maidservant having a baby for the husband. And listen to me, y'all, this is real important. We know that all of the law codes, including these law codes, were displayed on steles throughout Hammurabi's empire. And this means this form of substitute birthing or surrogacy, whatever you want to call it, this form of it was a cultural norm within the world of the Bible. And allow me to further demonstrate just how much of a cultural norm this really was in the world of the Old Testament. In addition to the law codes from the Code of Hammurabi, we've got the Sumerian laws of Lipit Ishtar, which dates to 1934 to 1924 BCE. Laws 24 through 27 of these laws deal with a husband, a wife, and a maidservant baby mama. Another archaeological artifact dealing with this same drama is from a marriage contract from the ancient town of Nuzi, which dates to 1500 to 1350 BCE. And in this marriage contract, the wife is required to provide a maidservant to her husband if she can't have a baby. And then there's even this old Assyrian marriage contract with dates to the 19th century BCE. And guess what? Same thing. If the wife is unable to have a baby, she must provide to her husband some type of servant so he can have a baby with her. Boom. The moral of the story is this. A woman offering up her maidservant to her husband in the event that she couldn't have a baby was just a cultural norm within the ancient context of Genesis. So when Sarah does it in Genesis 16, she's just acting out a cultural norm. So even when we get to Genesis 30 and Rachel and Leah are having that weird baby making contest, and as a part of the contest, each of them would offer up whatever maidservant they had to have a baby with Jacob. Yeah, in their own weird way, them offering up their maidservants was them still acting within the cultural norms. Listen, I don't care how we spin that, cultural norm or not, Rachel and Leah and that baby making contest is just crazy to me. Like, crazy. Okay, I can't process that one. Sorry. You see, y'all, in Genesis 16, Sarah just wanted to fix a problem. The problem was Yahweh had made a promise and she had not had a baby yet. So she just offers up a culturally normal solution to fix this problem. You see, what Sarah did was the problem, and that's the point. The point is that the fulfillment of this promise was never going to be achieved by any normal means. That was never the plan. Yahweh never intended it to be done that way. His promise was always going to be fulfilled in something outside of the norm and extraordinary in every way. I really hope you can see how archaeological artifacts like the Code of Hammurabi, how it can help bring texts like Genesis 16 to life. To me, this artifact really helps me to understand what Sarah was dealing with and what Abraham was dealing with. And ultimately, it brings more value to why Yahweh was making the moves that he was making. I'm just saying, it's something to think about. Let me know what you think about this artifact and how it helps with understanding this drama. I'd really love to hear from you in the comment section below. Make sure you like this video, make sure you're sharing this video, and make sure you're subscribed and follow me across all of my social media platforms, y'all. I'll see you next time.